One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm standing at the crossroads, feeling like a lost soul. Don't know where I wanna go, but all I know is I wanna be free. They telling me to let it be, but that just ain't in me, no. Jealousy and envy, but all I see is I wanna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Don't let it get the most of me. Eventually, I'm gonna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be free. Let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I told them take their aim off me. Stop trying to get a name off me. If they would just let me be, I'm gonna be free. I told them take some chains off me and throw away the locks and keys. If they would just let me be, eventually I'm gonna be free.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Cheers, everybody.
What up? What up? What up, though? What up, though?
What up, though? How you doing, my man?
Man, I'm good. I'm good.
That's what's up.
I can say blessed and highly favored. How about that?
That's right. That's right. Nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm.
How was your weekend?
Shit, man. It was good. It was good. I actually was busy as all hell, helping my cousin out in his whole backyard, doing a whole bunch of landscaping and shit. So it was work. It was work, but we good. We still here. My back was sore for like 3 days straight. Sucked.
Now, have you moved yet?
No. Nope.
Oh,
I move. I pack everything up on the 26th, and then I'm pretty much out of here by the end of the month, and then I'll be over there by the 1st. Guaranteed. Yes, sir. Speaking of that, though, you know, it's funny that we spoke on that because I went to look up the U-Haul prices today. From a pickup and drop off, like where I'm picking up the truck from here locally and then dropping it off in Alabama. Guess how much they wanted to charge me? $5,000.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say about
$5,000. I'm thinking like it's going to be $850, $900 or something like that. Maybe $1,000.
Yeah,
oh my God.
You better off just paying a moving company. They're going to charge you about the same amount.
Dude, it's ridiculous. And then $1,000 in gas, you know, that's basically what I came out to in math. But yeah, so that's shitty. But how's everything going with you? With the weekend?
Man, It's everything been going good, man. Been working on quite a few things here, trying to get some stuff going. But yeah, everything going good. Everything going good. Can't complain.
Nice.
Uh,
Very, very nice.
so let's get this started. All right, everybody. Once again, 7 days later, we back on here again with another episode of Dominant Effect. I'm Archbishop. That's Mike Ball, and we're gonna have a special guest with us today. We're gonna have Aaron with us here in a little bit because we're gonna be discussing some of this stuff that's going on dealing with this weather. Now,
Right.
it's a lot of different talk when you talk about dealing with this weather.
Mhm.
Now, some say it's climate change. Some say it's chemtrails. Some say that it's greenhouse gases. Some say that it's just Mother Nature just showing her butt right now.
What about Dubai? Like what they experienced over there? Cloud seeding.
Well, yeah, we're gonna cloud seeding too. and
We're gonna dive into it.
Right. We're gonna dive into that too. So, like I said, you got all these different things going on, and we're trying to get down to, what actually is it? Is it a combination of a little bit of all of this? And if it is a lot of man-made stuff going on, why are we playing God?
Right. That's a good question.
So this is the discussion that we're going to have today. So let's get Aaron in and we can get this started.
All right. What's up, my man? How's it going? Thanks for joining us again, Aaron.
What's going on,
Glad
brother?
to be here. How's it going there?
Yeah, man, everything good. Everything good. So I brought you on this time. I mean, people probably be like, man, I just seen him like 2-3 times on here. Well, it's the reason why he's on here, because this man knows just about, if not more information than I do. So you kind of get that meeting of the mind sometime when we get to going back and forth on some of this stuff. So so we're gonna jump into this one. So like I was telling them, Aaron, throughout the years, we've been dealing with a lot of different stuff dealing with the climate, a lot of massive storms. Just here recently, you've seen the number of tornadoes that have passed through. A lot of them that hit Ohio, where you're at. Matter of fact, a couple of years ago, one actually did hit Dayton, Ohio, and messed it up pretty good.
Oh shit.
But these storms seem like they're getting stronger and stronger as the days go on. Now, it's a lot of different perceptions as to what it could be. Some say it's climate change, dealing with the melting of the icebergs and the pollutants in the air. Some say it's greenhouse gases. Some say it's HAARP that's changing the weather. It's a number of different things. So we're gonna start out with, did y'all happen to see the video about the tornado that was in Houston last week?
No.
Yeah.
You didn't see it, Mike?
No.
Okay. Let me show y'all right quick. Now, mind you, I paid attention to this. Now, my youngest son lives in Houston, and he called me, and I was sitting there talking to him during this storm. Luckily, he was on the other side of it, so he didn't get the blunt end of this, but they got quite a bit. But I want y'all to see the force of this storm.
Shit, man, everything was sideways.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah, definitely no joke, Black Dragon.
now those storms are getting more and more intense as it goes on. Now, last year we had record-breaking heat. You know, they said that 2023 was the hottest year on record, and now they're saying that 2024 is going to be hotter than 2023. Now, you also have the meteorologists in a lot of these different areas is saying that the tropical storms and the hurricanes are going to be more this year than it was last year. I think if I'm not mistaken, they would say there's going to be 23 named storms and 11 major ones that they're predicting. And they're saying that it's in reference to climate change, being that the oceans in the Gulf is so warm, and El Nino that's over on the Pacific side has strengthened, and they said it is stronger now than it's ever been. So now you're going to be bringing in these massive storms. So I guess the question that we're asking is this Mother Nature, and just she out taking out a wrath on everybody and all these storms coming up? Is it actual climate change, or is there a little manipulation into this? So that's what we're going to hit today. So Aaron, let me hear what you think about this so far. Now we're going to drop down and hit all these different points, but I just want to see where you at, just based off what we've said so far.
Well, I'm in full agreement with you. All the scientists and leading climatologists around the world all agree that the storms are going to increase in frequency, and they're going to be an increase in intensity. So we can definitely expect that to happen. And in my research, I found that right now we've got 52 countries around the world that have weather modification programs in place. I don't know if everyone's aware of that.
Didn't know that many. That's a lot.
Yeah, you got that many hands in making a cake, something's bound to go wrong somewhere,
Oh yeah, absolutely. There was a video that I had found, and it was basically dealing with not only Florida but straight up that East Coast. They had it blocked off as saying this area was going to get 2 to 3 times greater cyclone energy in that area.
Oh shit.
So it was like a 96% chance for it hitting Florida. Like North Carolina was like 85%. Because a lot of times those storms come across the East Coast. Instead of coming across, they shoot straight up the eastern seaboard. So I'm gonna play this one right quick just to show you what it is I'm talking about here.
If you live inside this circled area, you need to watch this video. Today, I will be going over the areas that have the greatest risk of being impacted by a tropical storm or hurricane for this hurricane season. Colorado State University recently published their 2024 hurricane season outlook, and in their outlook, they mentioned that Florida has a 96% chance of seeing a tropical cyclone tracking within 50 miles, followed by North Carolina, with the second highest chances coming in at 85% of seeing a tropical cyclone track within 50 miles. This is a big jump from what we would normally see in any other given season. In fact, everyone as a whole has a greater chance of having a tropical cyclones track within 50 miles, especially the Caribbean, due to the number of storms we are expecting this season. WeatherBell is calling for accumulated cyclone energy to be 2 to 3 times greater in this area in red. There are many factors that led to why these forecasts are calling for this, and if you want me to go in more detail about why they are calling for these areas to have a greater risk of impact, then please hit the follow and like button.
Damn. And like as Dana or Debo says, that's a huge increase. That's mega.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm right here. I'm right here in Florida, so I'm sitting like, wow, for real?
Yeah.
About to get hit with that? And this, it's also it's a lot of climate discussions going on here in Florida anyway.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
A lot of them are mad at the governor right now for some climate initiatives that he's not trying to put in place. He's actually trying to get rid of the climate initiatives that's here in the state, and also trying to do a bill to where they don't use the turbines, the windmill turbines.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want it in Florida, don't want it on the coast, don't want it out in the water, he don't want it down here, period. So a lot of people are complaining about that because that's free power, free energy that you can use, you know, and being the amount of people that has flushed down here, it's unreal. You know, they throwing up apartment complexes left and right for so many people that's flying down here, which I have no idea why, because if shit hit the fan, you're gonna be running right on back up north where you came from. Yeah, but it's crazy. Now, dealing with this climate. Now, I've seen where was it? It was in April of 24. There was a video that had Puerto Rico, China, South Africa, and Omani. That particular day, you had 3 of those places were completely flooded out. And South Africa actually had golf ball size hail all on the same day. So they were, now you notice a lot of these storms now that we're getting, they're not just your regular run-of-the-mill storm that just passed by. These storms come around and they sit.
They linger
for a period of time. Right. They sit and they dump water and it's flooding everything. And like you remember in New York back at the beginning of the year, New York City was completely flooded.
underwater, the subways and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The subway system was flooded. The streets was flooded.
I remember seeing that. That was crazy.
Right. Now, of course, once again, they say that it's climate change. Now, from what I understand with that tornado in Houston, was that was in effect dealing with cloud seeding. Mm-hmm. That they had actually seeded some clouds because of the precipitation being, Houston being as hot as it was and hadn't had rain for a long period of time. This is what they were doing.
I was just going to ask that question is like, why, I didn't even know we really did cloud seeding in the United States, but it makes sense to do it in areas such as Texas. You know what I mean?
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, they doing it in Texas. They doing it in California. Let me see. They got you got Texas, you got Colorado, you got California, Arizona, Nevada, and Utah. Now you know they were going up into the mountains up in Utah. They were cloud seeding there, and in Colorado because it made it snow more, and then that snow, you know, eventually melts, slows down, you know, because they had the whole deal with the Colorado River, you know, basically shrinking up, stuff like that. We was talking about that earlier, Aaron.
Yes.
You know what? Matter of fact, why don't you run them through that when we was talking about dealing with the Colorado?
Yeah, Colorado River is probably the busiest river in the United States, even more so than the Mississippi as far as the amount of freight and stuff that gets shipped. And because of all the droughts and stuff that we've had, Colorado River has almost turned in some certain areas of it turned into like little creeks. They're impassable as far as getting freight through. And then you've got 40 million people that count on getting drinking water from it. You got the hydrostatic electric plant at the Hoover Dam that produces a lot of energy for some of the surrounding states that come from that. There wasn't enough water to turn the turbines. So they got into an aggressive cloud seeding thing to try to create more snow and more rain so that they can get the runoff to power the generators and create the water for people to drink, and then have the river deep enough to run freight up and down.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they not only cloud seeded in Colorado, but they blocked off four states where the Colorado River runs through, and cloud seeded all four states to be able to bring that water up.
Water
Now,
level. Yeah.
right. Now, you know, like in some places like that, it may be a good idea because you know what I mean, because you're putting the water back into the rivers and whatnot. And then like up in Colorado, of course, you know, you went from was it it went from a 5% to a 15% increase in precipitation in those areas that they did cloud seed. Now, it didn't solve the problem, but it did help. But let me this is now I was looking for the one for Colorado, and I found one, but I couldn't get it. But they also did a major cloud seeding deal over in Arizona, and I did find out one. So let me hit you on this one so everybody can kind of see kind of what's going on here.
All right.
The Salt River Project distributing water to about half the valley, getting its supply from the Verde and Salt Rivers, recently entering into a partnership with the White Mountain Apache tribe to research the feasibility of cloud seeding, a complicated technique discovered in the 1940s.
Cloud drops can exist in a liquid state even below freezing. That type of water is called supercooled liquid water. If you can inject extra ice nuclei in there, then you can promote the growth of snowflakes and increase the amount of snow that falls in the winter storms.
Hydrologist James Walter explaining the process, focusing their nearly year-and-a-half study on the White Mountains, which he believes could be the most favorable area for cloud seeding in Arizona and bring big benefits to.
An update on snow amounts. This season is going to go down in the record books. It is ranking as the second snowiest season on record so far for the Flagstaff area. For Belmont, it's the #1 snowiest season on record.
Yeah, you know, I was actually going to ask you, when do you, like, I thought cloud seeding was fairly new. I had no idea, and I actually typed it in before we played that video. 1946 in the United States, the first experiments with cloud seeding were conducted in 1946 by an American chemist. I had no idea about that, to be honest. I thought this was all new.
No,
so it's old technology, yeah?
Yeah, cloud seeding has been going on for a long time. They also used cloud seeding back during Vietnam to basically make it rain, so that way
Flush
you
them
had
out?
a little bit more. Right, exactly. It was, I mean, that's documented that they use cloud seeding to do that. You know, I think a lot of people didn't really realize cloud seeding was going on until you heard about what happened in Dubai the past couple weeks.
Yep.
So what happened there was like that's kind of like how you put too much salt in your food. That's exactly what happened. They put a little bit too much, and everybody's seen what happened there. I mean, it completely flooded everything.
It did.
But what I didn't know was that the United Arab Emirates, so it's Dubai.
Yep.
Their government is in full control of that, and the UAE does 100,000 hours of cloud seeding there every year.
100,000?
100,000 hours.
Isn't that done by like a plane or something? That's crazy.
Yeah, because they just all that's a desert, you know, and see, and that's the reason why they had so much problem with the water, was because it is desert and it wasn't soaking up fast enough, you know. So that was one of the big problems that they was having there. You know what I mean? It was the rain, and it was the amount of rain that fell. It was nowhere for it to go. You know, so here's
They probably
one
didn't build
with,
the infrastructure correctly for it, you know, I mean, because they never expect there to be rain in the desert.
well,
Yeah,
they knew it was going to do that. I mean, because they've been doing it for years. That's what I'm
sure.
saying. So they, like Dubai been doing it. It's a lot of countries that actually do it to make it rain for not only for the water, but a lot of places like over in Arabia, they do it because it's so much smog and pollution there. They use the rain to bring it down.
Mm,
So,
interesting.
but yeah, so they've been doing this for years and years. You know what I mean? It just became more mainstream now
Right.
because of what happened there.
Right, with the amount of media coverage that I got.
Exactly. But for the ones who really don't understand what this cloud seeding is, I'm gonna show you this one here. It's like a complete illustration as to what happens with this cloud seeding, but it's only 60 seconds. It's like a full explanation in 60 seconds.
Nice.
Cloud seeding is a weather modification technique that involves introducing substances into clouds with the goal of increasing the chances of rain or snowfall. It's typically employed in areas experiencing water shortages or droughts to stimulate rainfall and potentially increase water resources. To implement cloud seeding, meteorologists first identify suitable clouds that have the potential to produce precipitation. These clouds are usually cumulus or stratiform clouds which have sufficient vertical development and moisture content. Various substances can be used as seeding agents, with the most common being silver iodide, potassium iodide, and sodium chloride. These substances act as ice nuclei, providing a surface for ice crystals to form within the cloud. These ice crystals grow in size, eventually becoming heavy enough to fall as precipitation. Cloud seeding can be achieved using different delivery methods depending on the target cloud type and weather conditions, but common techniques include using aircraft to dispense the seeding agents or using devices on the ground that release the agents, which are subsequently carried into the atmosphere via updrafts. It's important to note that while cloud seeding can enhance precipitation under certain conditions, it's not a guaranteed method, and its effectiveness is subject to various factors, including the cloud's natural conditions and the availability of sufficient moisture. Ethical and environmental considerations also arise in cloud seeding practices, as the potential impacts on weather patterns and water resources need to be carefully assessed. Moreover, cloud seeding is a controversial topic because weather modification as a whole used to be a quick way to get yourself slapped with the conspiracy theorist label. In all fairness, how the hell do you know what chemicals are being dropped on you from 30,000 feet? Let me know what I left out, and let me know if you've ever successfully flown a kite. I've done it twice and gotten the kite to fly once. I love you. Milk.
I like the ending of that. That was very interesting.
Right. Right. Now, go ahead, Aaron. What you got?
Okay. I wanted to elaborate just a little bit further. He forgot to mention dry ice. Dry ice is used as cloud seeding. The sodium chloride that he talked about, that's your basic table salt. I don't know if some of you guys know that. Silver iodide is great for creating water because it creates ice crystals. And then the potassium iodide, sodium iodide and potassium iodide, those are your top two things that they want to use. But when they don't have it, dry ice or sodium chloride works. Yes, they use planes, but they also use rockets to put it up there. And right now they're starting to go to drones to put it up, because drones are a lot cheaper to use than airplanes. And then you don't have to hire pilots, and drones could go up into high pressure atmospheres and not have to have special suits to function. So drones is going to be the future of cloud seeding.
Now, let me ask you this, Aaron. Now, you just naming off the different chemicals that they're using. Now, isn't silver iodine or silver oxide, that's actually not good for the actual water supply, though, is it?
If it gets in too large of quantities, no, it wouldn't be. But that's what they're using. They use ground radar and satellites to find specific clouds, and then they go up and they seed them right after that ground radar detects the specific clouds they're looking for. The problem is they're messing with forces they don't quite understand, as we saw in Dubai, as we saw in Houston. you don't, how much do you use before it starts to become dangerous? I mean, everybody knows to create a tornadic activity, you have to have cold air mixing with warm air. Now in Houston, you not only had hot air happening, but you also had high humidity. So that's on the ground moving up toward the clouds. You put silver iodide in, that's going to create ice crystals. Now you're mixing cold air with warm air, and hey, straight line winds at a minimum, tornadoes on the top end. So,
Right.
you know, how much do you put in before it becomes dangerous?
Exactly. Now, at the end of that video that we was just watching, they showed the airplane, and I know they were talking about cloud seeding, but it's also a little thing that people have been talking about for a while. Is talking about chemtrails, and you know the whole theory behind chemtrails is that they were secretly putting this poison out in the atmosphere, and to the point that it was causing certain problems. You know what I mean? Some people say that there was they were putting stuff out for what was it, like a mind control type deal. That was Safarian.
Oh shit.
Then they were saying that it was like an actual poison that they was actually putting out, different stuff like that. Now, there's a difference between a chemtrail and a contrail. So
No, never heard of a contrail.
Okay, so a contrail is the actual condensed water that comes off the jet engines. So when you see the jet going across and you see the white streaks coming behind it, okay, that's the condensation coming off of it. Now, they have throughout the past few years or whatever, said like, no, we're not actually putting no chemical out there. That's just contrails. People just getting this mixed up with contrails. Now, I did actually find one video, and I couldn't use it because of the music that they was playing in the background. I knew I'd have got a copyright strike for it.
Oh shit.
But what I seen though, they had big 747 style planes, and the inside had these massive containers all alongside the wall, piping and everything going into these massive containers that they were actually going. I mean, there was actual stuff coming out the bottom of the plane, not along the sides, that they were actually dumping. And it was an actual group that was doing it. They had like the little chemtrail patch thing and the whole bit. I wanted to download it and show you, but like I said, I didn't want to get a copyright strike, so I didn't do it. But I do have. Let me see here. I do have something dealing with the chemtrails, though. I know you've heard a lot about this too, Aaron. Dealing with these chemtrails. Can you share a little bit of what you know about it before I play this?
Yeah, I know in the study that they released in America, they said that 1 in 5 people believe in chemtrails. A lot of them believe that it's going to be used for population control. I know there's a body of them that believes that's geoengineering being done. Let's say that if global warming's correct, could they put enough chemicals in the atmosphere to try to block out the sun rays to try to cool the planet? That would be geoengineering. And I'm hearing talk about that. Everybody tries to deny it. Back in mid 1960s, the Air Force published a paper called Weber's a Force Multiplier. So they were already thinking of either geoengineering or creating something that that could weaponize Weber, basically. But then later, after 2008, the Air Force wrote a paper on what they called the chemtrail hoax, where they flatly denied the existence of it. And I found that interesting that they went in that direction after putting out the one paper about whether it's a force multiplier. So, but I'm gonna stop there for right now.
Let me see. Let's go hit this one right here with these chemtrails, and then we're gonna pop back in here for just a second.
Chemtrails is real. Chemical release may be solar radiation management, weather modification, psychological manipulation, human population control, biological or chemical warfare, or testing of biological or chemical agents on a population, and that the trails are causing respiratory illnesses and other health problems.
Man, I honestly thought chemtrails were like from the burning of the fuel of the plane. Didn't know that it was actually releasing chemicals like that.
Now you did see that one plane. You see it was coming from underneath.
It was dumping. Yeah.
Wasn't coming from the engine.
Like from the turbines, like I thought it would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, you know, you can, a lot of planes can release jet fuel, and it will make a trail like that as well. But most of it that you get from is from the condensation that built up in the engines that make those trails. But you just seen where they were dumping, and it wasn't nowhere near no engine.
Right. It was dumping from the bottom.
That was coming from underneath. You know, so but like I said, just like Aaron was talking about, a lot of people said that they were doing this for population control. People thought that it was poison that they were releasing. Now, here's the question though that you ask yourself. Now, they've been saying for all this time that chemtrail did not exist. Am I correct? Am I correct, Aaron?
Yes.
Now, and everybody who has tried to bring this up, they were like, "Oh, this is just a conspiracy theory. This is just a hoax. This is stuff people have made up." Now, why is it that in Tennessee and in Texas, they have an actual chemtrail bill that's banning airborne chemicals to be released in the air? That, matter of fact, anything intentional, what's that? Intentional injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals in the air through use of airplane. So, if it's not real, why would you make a bill about it? Make sense?
Yeah.
You know, Texas isn't a bill yet. Texas is more of a petition that outlaws aerosol spraying up above. Basically, the same thing, releasing chemicals into the air by way of, you know, of chemtrails.
Interesting.
But they keep saying that this doesn't exist. So if it doesn't exist, then why are you making legislation on it?
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't exist. What do you think about that, Aaron?
I agree with you on that.
But that's the quickest. He never answered the question. You see that?
Well,
You are not ready for that quick.
He never just answered the question like
never
that.
says yeah.
Boy. He never answered one that quick. Okay, so let me ask you this. Have you seen the did you see that cloud that they had that went over Texas a couple weeks ago? It was like orange and yellow. It was like Did you see that? Did you see that cloud?
Yeah.
It was I forget the actual name of it. It looked like a shelf cloud. It's what
Shelf
what it
cloud,
looked
yeah.
like. But it was massive, and it was like orange and yellow. You know what I mean? It was like some real creepy type, stuff. But it stretched for miles and miles. Matter of fact, let me see. You know what? I don't know if I have one that you can see that on. Yes, I do. Hold on. I want
Nice.
y'all to see this. I'm not gonna play it the whole. I ain't gonna play it the whole time. We'll I'll just play it just for a minute. I just want y'all to see just how long this is.
Yeah, it looks like there's a big problem over Texas, y'all. Do you guys see this? That's no cloud. Ain't no way that. Look how big it is. Look how far it stretches out, y'all. What is that, y'all? And it goes longer and it goes out for furthermore. Bro, look how it's moving, y'all. It's like moving backwards. You guys see that? It's moving backwards and forwards at the same time. You see that? Like it's rolling back on itself. Look. It's rolling back on itself, but it's moving forward. That's crazy, y'all. No way. And the crazy thing about it is, I've been reading my comments when it comes to the weather. People have been saying their weather has been off. One day it's raining, snowing, lightning, rain, thunderstorm, so much kind of weathers. So many weather anomalies going on in different places, is meant to say. But yeah, y'all see that? That's crazy. It's so eerie too. It's like moving so slow and fast at the same time. That's crazy.
The only question I got is why all these TikTokers got that cheapy $10 microphone that they hold up like this. That's the real question I got. You know what I
Because
mean?
they got it from the TikTok shop.
Yeah, why not? Why not just film yourself this close? You know what I mean? And the phone picks your voice up. Anyways, besides the point, I
Well,
digress.
you know what? The microphones actually are pretty good. Actually are pretty good.
You're like, I tested it from the TikTok shop. It's lit.
Yeah. It's actually not bad. I mean, now, if you want me to do a commercial about it or something, TikTok, holler at me. But yeah.
That's right. We will take your money. That's right.
yeah, it's not half bad. Now, you seen that cloud. Now you see up above there, it was regular overcast sky.
Right, it was.
And then you had that shelf cloud. Now, every time I seen the shelf cloud, it was usually right when the storm's coming in, and you knew it was coming because you seen that shelf as it was coming to you. Now, that right there looked hella weird. I mean, I haven't seen one. I ain't seen one look like that.
I have never seen anything look like that before.
Yeah, I ain't never seen nothing like that. That's weird. Now, another one. Oh yeah. I almost forgot. When we was talking about the chemtrails and talking about the cloud seeding, and we was talking about that they go and they look for particular clouds that they're going to use, that they're
Right.
going to.
If it's good enough or whatever, dense enough, whatever the way they figure it out.
Yeah. Now, what if I told you that they can actually make the cloud?
See, that's what I thought cloud seeding was originally. I was like, so they're just making clouds out of nothing, and then it pours rain from when it gets too dense. I that's what I thought. And then honestly, I didn't know up until we just played this. I was like, oh shit! Like I thought it actually created the cloud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just
they
went out.
actually have actually NASA, of all people, have a cloud factory that it produces this massive cloud, and that cloud produces rain. Now, I know some people be like, Man, where you get that from? Ain't no way, right? But I got proof.
Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And as it turns out, the cleanest. Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you. It's raining. That's unbelievable. Oh. NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather.
Man, where the hell is that machine? Parts unknown.
I
Place
have
a place that is fenced off like 16 miles that way and 25 miles that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no clue. But
That thing is crazy looking.
But you see that they got an actual cloud factory that can produce a cloud. And it'll go wherever it's gonna go to, and it's gonna drop rain.
Kind of crazy.
Are we not trying to play God?
Oh yeah, we're definitely playing God. We're playing God on a lot of things, not just, the clouds, but I mean, in almost all aspects. We're trying to control everything that happens in human nature.
Right. Now, these weather anomalies some of them has been crazy. Like over in China, they had in one location it went from 6 degrees Celsius to minus 52 within a couple of hours. And they had it was a bunch of birds, bunch of waterfowl that were out in the lake that basically froze solid where they stood because of the weather switching as quick as it did.
Oh, right. It would go, the weather would change like instantly, and then it was too much of a shock.
Exactly. So going from 6 degrees Celsius to minus 52 degrees Celsius, that's a big drop. That's a huge drop within a short period of time. And they actually froze. They actually show video of these waterfowl that was actually froze in the water. Some of them still had their head ducked in the water. They was froze solid. But it happened within like a couple of hours. You don't have temperature drops like that.
No, and you said Celsius?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gnarly, because 0 is freezing point, right?
Right.
So you said 4 to negative 55.
Right. So you went from 6 degrees Celsius to minus 52.
Oh wow. And where did you say that was?
This was in China.
Oh wow.
Hold on. Let me show you.
Did you guys hear about China's weather anomaly? This broke all records, you guys. In less than 24 hours, the temperature dropped from 6 Celsius to negative 52, y'all. Check this out. And because of this, it froze thousands of waterfowls, y'all.
In just 24 hours, the temperature dropped from 6 degrees Celsius to minus 30 degrees Celsius in Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region in China. Wind gusts reached 150.
Very interesting how certain parts of the planet are receiving these certain type of weather anomalies, y'all. I really had to slow this down to see these, these waterfowls, but they're really they're submerged and stuck in these ice, their heads and everything, y'all. That's crazy. Look at that. Thousands of them, y'all. This weather anomaly junk is serious, y'all. Whether it be a weather anomaly, HAARP, cyclical. We know the only thing that's constant in the universe is change. Change is the only thing that's constant. So the earth is going through a change right
Holy shit.
Oh, ain't that crazy?
That's serious business right there.
You had a whole lake. You had a whole lake that was completely froze over.
Imagine how quickly it's got to freeze in order for them to not even get out of the fucking water. Damn.
Exactly. What you
Okay.
got, Aaron?
I've got 2 dates for you here, and I might be out of place reading them now rather than saving them. But May 20th, 2017, Russia tested its weather modification weapon. That was in 2017. A year later, May 10th, 2018, China is launching weather control machine across an area that was the size of Alaska. And that might explain why that area froze like that, because they might have been experimenting with that weapon that they created.
Very possible.
And like I said, it's the size of Alaska. The area that they got the machines spanned out is over an area the size of Alaska.
Which is huge. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, there's been a lot of work in weather modification around the world.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that I would think that China would be one of the number ones leading in this aspect, just because it's China. You know what I mean? China seems to be ahead of everything and all of that kind of nonsense.
Well, they were actually a year behind Russia, because Russia came out with theirs in 2017. China came out with theirs in 2018.
Weird.
And
Interesting.
that's documented. I'm not making that stuff up.
Right,
People
right.
can look it up if they don't believe me.
Now that brings us to what we're going to talk about now, and that's now what you just brought up. Kind of seems like the same thing that we're getting ready to talk about, and that's HAARP.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's also another mystery and enigma, all in the same category. You know, because this is they have 33 acres in Alaska for this. It's this huge antenna array. It's one of, what is this? What is it? It's about the only one in the world that is capable of high power and high frequency for studying the ionosphere. And a lot of times when you see, like, especially like over in California, Utah, stuff like that, and you see looks like the northern lights, but it's a different color. It's like a reddish tint, stuff like that. That's not the northern lights. That's HAARP. But just to tell you what HAARP means, HAARP is high frequency active aerial research program.
And what did they specifically do? Exactly what you just stated beforehand was that whole bit, or I don't even really know what HAARP is, to be honest.
Well, it's actually a program that's at the University of Alaska in Fairbanks, and it studies the ionosphere, and it sends high frequency radio waves into the ionosphere and brings back different readings.
And this was government ran, and then it ended, right? Something like that.
See, here's the thing. They said that it ended, but it didn't. Okay. Now, like you said, the University of Alaska has it as an actual program, but there are actual government agencies that's a part of that. I'm gonna have Aaron jump into that here in just a second. But back on May 8th to May 10th, HAARP was used, and it caused the atmosphere to emit this artificial aurora that went across the sky. Now, they say that they don't use it, but they use it. Now, the biggest thing dealing with HAARP is frequencies. And anybody that does a lot of research dealing with frequencies, then they know that, frequencies basically can transform or modify anything. You know, they've actually done studies where, you know, where certain frequencies dealing with like the chakra, stuff like that. That's all based on frequency.
Okay, interesting. I only know anything about frequency through the radio frequencies. That's about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
this is different.
Yeah,
So-
the
so
actual
based on-
travel.
Right. So based on the type of frequency that you're using, it's used for different things. And the higher the frequency, the more it is. I mean, so it's like 9 different levels of it. But once you shooting this high frequency beam up in the ionosphere, what you're able to do is take that frequency and broadcast it at distances. So, and they say that by manipulating those frequencies, that you can cause cyclones, you can cause earthquakes, you can cause localized heating, all kind of stuff. You can basically manipulate the weather to do as you wish. Am I right about that, Aaron?
That's correct. Another thing with the ionosphere, when they first started using HAARP, you're kind of charging the particles that are floating up in the ionosphere. And when you're sending up signals, that made it possible for what they call over the horizon communication. You can now start to communicate around the world without bouncing it off of a satellite. You're actually bouncing it off the ionosphere and bringing the signal back down. But it's fun, the funding about it, even though they say there's no military application, that in itself is an application if you're using it to communicate with your military forces around the world. I mean, it's funded by the United States Air Force, U.S. Navy. Of course, the University of Alaska has it because it's part of their program, which will probably be very little money compared to U.S. Air Force and U.S. Navy. But it's also funded by DARPA, and that's the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. I mean, DARPA's got their hand in any classified weapon system that's out there. Now, if it has no military application whatsoever, why is the Air Force, Navy, and DARPA involved in financing?
Right. That's a good question. That's valid. Absolutely.
Right. Now, but also though, along with that, Aaron, they actually have HAARP in other countries too, correct?
Yeah. Russia for sure, and I hear China has it. I don't know if Korea has it or Iran, but I have heard that China and Russia has it.
And I know that Great Britain also has it.
Right.
But you know, a lot of them were thinking. I seen a report a couple weeks ago dealing with that, and there was a lady that was talking about using HAARP as a mind control weapon based on the, you know, using the frequencies. But she was she wasn't like no crackpot that they'd like, oh man, she just a crazy lady.
Man, that sounds like a radical conspiracy theory though.
Yeah, she was actually someone that had been in politics for a while. And she was, you know, she gave a lot of detail about it. I was trying to find her actual whole video to be able to watch everything that she was saying. I did find a little clip that she was talking about. But she was talking about the fact that they could actually use that to not only change weather patterns and, you know, be able to start earthquakes and cyclones and stuff like that, but they could also use those frequencies for mind control. Let me hit it right quick.
One of the largest HAARP type transmission systems.
That's right. That's right. It's in outside of Tromsø, the biggest HAARP type of thing, part of ASCAT system. The system going from Svalbard, Tromsø, Kiruna in Sweden has the headquarters of the whole system, and then in Lapland, in Finnish Lapland, in Sodankylä. And, you know, when they blast electromagnetic fields, it goes through all of Europe.
And do you think that's a form of mind control?
Oh, it can be used for mind control, of course, like HAARP. And that is the danger, because people know nothing about mind control. They don't know that your thoughts can be changed, your attitudes, your feelings. If you love somebody sitting at a computer, even through satellites, can say, okay, let's make it opposite. And you start just detesting the person who you love. You can't be in the same room, you know, you feel uncomfortable. I think this is terrible, because you're making people into biological robots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to get her full. I've been trying to find her full interview so I could watch it in its entirety. But yeah, so now that was a doctor who was actually going through this and talking about, you know, this stuff can actually happen. Like, you can actually use those frequencies to, you know, change mood and everything else, which, you know, anybody that's dealing with, that knows anything about frequencies and chakra and stuff like that, know that you can absolutely do that. You know what I mean? There is a frequency for healing. There's a frequency for, you know, for overall well-being. Hell, there's even a God frequency that you can listen to a certain frequency, and it puts you into another what's the word I'm
mind state.
looking for here? Yeah, kind of, sort of. Not the word I was looking for, but close.
Almost like an emotional change. I mean, that's kind of what I got from her, but I'm sure there's a word for it that you're looking for.
Yeah, it's like it puts you in another realm. That's the word I'm looking for.
Can I add something?
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
I wanted to add something that if people don't believe in frequency or first frequency, then I'm gonna give it to them in terms that they can understand. Part of the reason that some people don't want wind turbines on their property or close to them is they give off electromagnetic fields that affect people's health. Even the high power lines that are on those steel girders that's way up in the sky, people don't want those on their property because of the electromagnetic fields they're giving off, and it causes birth defects or other health issues. So
I always wondered about that. Why
Yeah.
people didn't want wind turbines and stuff. Now it makes sense. Anyways.
And that's the reason why. So if you can understand that electromagnetic fields can affect, seeing that your body has electronic impulses can affect you, then it's not that big of a stretch to think that HAARP, if it's giving off some sort of a field, can cause some sort of problem to you. I'll stop there.
Yeah, now you but what you just said, Aaron. Now, I was just sitting here thinking, like, how would they be able to, you know, like the doctor was saying, that they could be able to manipulate someone to the point that you would turn against the person that you loved. I'm trying to rationalize that and be like, okay, like, I know what the frequencies are. I know what they can do. You know, I mean, I listen to frequencies every night when I go to bed, you know, for various, you know.
Sure. Like pink noise and white noise and stuff?
Well, I mean, like I said, like, different degrees of frequencies have different properties to them. So based on the particular frequencies, based on what you know, I mean, it's what you get. So you can bounce around. But I never knew it as far as being able to actually manipulate a person, you know what I mean? Which I feel that it could probably absolutely be done. I'm just wondering, like, why would someone even sit back and actually try to use something like that if it's not used for any kind of military gain? You know what I mean? Because that would be something that you could use. Because you remember back a few years ago, the military had this high frequency pulse that they could put out that would whoever heard it would just basically be incapacitated for a certain period of time because of that high pitched frequency that was put out. You remember that, Aaron?
Yep, I remember hearing about that.
You know, so it can definitely be done. You know, but if you are manipulating the weather, and you would think, why would you do that to the point that you cause these tornadoes and these super storms and all this stuff? Because you do realize that when these tornadoes come through and they tearing up everything, you know, now here comes FEMA. That's more money that you're spending. You know what I mean? You got these insurance companies that, you know, that's why they dropping out of states now left and right, that they know that, okay, this is a hurricane path. You know what I mean? I don't want to be here.
Right.
This is a heavy tornado path. Like they done had, you know, 6, 7 tornadoes through here. We don't want to be over here either because they know it's all about money now. You know what I mean? They got to pay these people for these houses getting destroyed like that.
Yep.
Matter of fact, Aaron, over in up in your neck of woods, up in Indian Lake. Now, you know, they had 2 tornadoes in that town within a couple weeks of each other.
Holy shit.
You know, so it like hit one side of town and it came back a couple weeks later and hit the other side.
Damn.
You know, so it basically demolished that town just about. Okay. So, you know, you playing God. But don't you think, and this is a question for both of y'all, but don't you think that eventually you're gonna do that and you're gonna start something that you can't control, and it's gonna basically be a path of devastation by doing that. Like if you do just a little bit too much here, or you do a little too much over here, that you're gonna be able to possibly, you know, start something that you can't fix.
Well, it seems like all of these things are pretty much like that, like HAARP, cloud seeding, all of these things that we've already been discussing. It sounds like a lot of these things can accidentally cause some bullshit to happen because of it, like different, different effects that happen, side effects, I guess, if you will, different things that happen because of what we're using. So yeah, I definitely can see how that can easily happen.
In my case, I say that's the lesson that we need to learn here, is that we shouldn't be messing around with forces that we don't totally understand. Because at that point, we may get results that we're not going to like.
Right.
Yeah. Now, the bad thing about that is that the people that's in the path of these storms and what they're going to have to go through, or what they're going to end up losing because you want to play with the weather. You know, they've already said that the weather this year is going to be more amped than it was last year, more amped than it was the year before that and the year before that. So every year it's increasing. It's getting stronger and stronger by the year. Now, you know, some of this, I ain't gonna say a lot of this, some of this can be blamed on climate change, yes, because there is a lot of pollution out there. There's a lot of these icebergs breaking off and raising the water levels and stuff like that. All that is definitely happening. But a lot of this stuff too is happening because of these man-made gadgets that y'all done came up with, you know, that you are playing with like it's a toy. Like, oh, watch this. Like, watch me make the ground shake in India.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or watch me cause this tsunami right quick, and you know what I mean?
Totally.
Could I add one thing here?
Sure.
That's the reason why I say that World War III, I think we're in the early stages of it, because the early stages are going to be weapons that are silent, weapons that don't leave a trail to track it back to, like a cyber attack, bioweapon being released, weather modification weapon being used. You're creating disasters without having to take blame for it. You got complete deniability. We do it to them, they're probably doing it to us. So that's something, that's the reason why, and I hate to keep beating a dead horse. That's the reason why I keep telling people you need to be preparing and you need to be prepping, because the only person you're going to be able to count on in the end is going to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, there was it's a lot that we covered on here. We done went back and forth on like four or five different different things,
Subcategories, yeah.
right? That could actually, you know, just totally mess up everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we need to, especially in the summer. You know what I mean? When they talk about that this going to be hotter than it was in 23, then you know 23 was scorching.
It was brutal. Yeah.
Like,
Even here, it was like 115 every day. It was like, what is going on here?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. I walked outside here for the past week, and I'm telling you, as soon as you walk outside, you
spin on your
wanna turn
heel.
around and walk, yeah, you wanna turn around and walk on back inside. Like, man,
forget
like,
about this.
Like, no, not today. Not today.
Right.
Not today. Because it's been, I mean, and it's been hot already, and it's not even summer yet, and it's been, you know, 95, 96, you know, humidity high, all of that. You know what I mean? It's just hazy, hot, and humid as hell. You know what I mean? It's just unreal. But according to a lot of these meteorologists, these storms are gonna get worse. They're gonna intensify as they coming through. I mean, look at how many tornadoes done hit land here in the past couple of weeks.
Now, what's their excuse for all this?
Whose excuse?
Well, I guess the meteorologists. Like, what are they saying about it?
Well,
are they saying it's due to the shit that we're talking about, or are they saying, "Oh, climate change"? You know what I mean?
Oh no, they're not. They're not saying that.
Of course.
They're saying that it's a combination of
El Nino
and El Nino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's more than that, okay? Because what about everywhere else that is happening?
Totally.
I mean, because it's not just happening here; it's happening across the globe.
Right.
You know?
You're very right about that.
Right. Or across the plane, because you know, I mean, for you ones that think the Earth is flat. Anyway,
yeah,
that's a whole nother discussion. But it's happening worldwide. So I don't think El Nino that's over on the Pacific side is going to
the West Coast
influence something that's going on over here. Now, granted, it's you know, I mean, it's going to make the U.S. hell on wheels, but it ain't going to make everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is a worldwide situation. You know what I mean? Because it's people out here that's doing stuff that they should not be doing. You know, they was talking about that clean air initiatives and stuff like that, but you have countries like China that's actually putting off more pollution than anyone in the country, anyone in the world. I mean, like they're not even close. I mean, like the U.S. isn't even close to them.
Yeah, isn't it China and India? Then it rolls down from there, like dramatically.
Yeah. Because they, you know, a lot of them they build a lot of coal factories there.
Right. Cheap energy.
Yeah, so they throwing coal factories up left and right, you know, and coal puts off a lot of pollutant, a lot. So you can get the energy off of it, yes, but you're going to pay for it on the back end because it's going to tear your environment to pieces.
Most people are like, well, I'm not going to be alive for that shit, so forget it. It's cheaper now. Totally.
Right. Yeah. So, so hopefully we can well, not we, like we can be prepared, but hoping they stop doing what they're doing. You know,
Sure.
now I do understand the whole cloud seeding thing. I do understand that, and I know that there is a lot of good points to that.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm
You
sure
know,
there's
because I mean,
pluses.
right, especially in areas that actually need that type of precipitation, that you
Right.
need that water. I mean, to keep from going into droughts and stuff like that. Which, you know, like if that's what you were saying that you were doing, like, hey, we just keeping the Midwest from going through a drought, so we're gonna do this. Okay, cool.
Well,
I'm
that makes
pretty
sense with
sure.
Colorado, for instance, you know,
Right,
the whole
right. So
water
I'm pretty sure
supply. I
nobody
get
would say,
that.
right, nobody would say a word about that
No, you're right.
as long as it was done the right way. Now you're still playing God. You're still
Hmm.
manipulating, which you should not be manipulating with. But majority of the people would not say nothing because of the benefit that it was doing.
Right.
But then you
Right.
run into a situation like in Dubai where you dropped, 6 years of rain off in one day.
Right.
You know, where you where you got the airports flooded, everywhere is flooded because they wasn't prepared for that. And what happened? They put a little too much up there, at the wrong time. Just like Aaron was talking about before about you having, the warm front and the cold front end. Did you put a little bit too much in when you was doing that? And they caused that. But look how much damage that ended up causing. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's up into the billions.
Well, I'm sure of it. I mean, it seems like one building over there is $1 billion. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you play with it over here. So you can play with it, and then you're gonna pay for it.
Mhm.
So, pick which one you want to do. You know what I mean? Me personally, like I can be pissed off at the world and not come in the house. I ain't gonna throw my own shit around though. I ain't about to break up mine though. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
kind of what this seems like. You do these experiments and they go wrong and be like, oh well, guess we got to clean that up.
Yeah. With whose money, you know? It's like, damn.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just hope that this gets controlled in a moderate way, and hopefully this put out some information to some people about exactly what all is going on. And not everybody who talks about something opposite of what someone may think is not considered a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
Some of them conspiracy theories is actually based on fact.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, our own government is the biggest conspiracy theorist in the world. That's what they get paid to do. You know what I mean? Conspiracy theories can absolutely be correct. Now, what made conspiracy theories such a terrible thing is because there are some really dumb conspiracy theories out there. But that kind of allows people to get that bad tarnished name with conspiracy theory, for sure.
Now, I did see a message on there that was talking about, what was it? I don't know who put it on there. It was talking about earthquakes in
Yeah, I did see that. Kind of like more towards the beginning, kind of.
like earthquakes in Puerto Rico. But I think it was a message to you, Aaron, about what your thoughts were about it.
Oh.
Well, I know in 2010, the Venezuelan leader Hugo Chavez, he claimed that HAARP program or programs similar to it triggered the earthquake in Haiti, but by directing the frequencies directly at a fault line, and that they created that. Now, scientists later said that that wasn't true, but I mean, this is a world leader of his country, and he flat out said it. And if it wasn't HAARP itself, it was a weapon similar to it to be able to do something like that.
Wow.
And they experiment with trying to create, even the Israelis and different ones experiment with trying to create earthquakes. I mean, from what I understand, Russia has what, 25 nukes to target what is that called? The Yellowstone National Park, which is a giant super volcano, to try to get it to go active. And if it goes active, the earthquakes from it would be massive. So, I mean, it
would.
The possibilities are there. A lot of people can sit back and say, oh, I don't believe in it. This is all BS. But it's already happening. Everything that I said, you can look it up for yourself. This stuff is going on right now.
Right.
And you got to figure out what's your role going to be. How are you going to react with super storms that come your way? What's going to be your reaction? Will you even have one? Or do you feel that the government's going to be there to save you?
Right. That would be a very ignorant and arrogant thing to say, that the government's going to be here to save us. Right. Like as if they ever gave a shit. Right.
Yeah, I don't think the right thing for them to do is try to mess with anything dealing with Yellowstone, because if Yellowstone goes off, majority of this country is gone. Number one, and two, it'll put up so much ash that it will cause you have darkness and winter for a long time.
Right.
So that's not going to be the right thing to do. So hopefully they don't try that, even though you have heard that they have been talking about that the ground in Yellowstone has been slowly rising.
Yeah.
And that magma chamber was actually longer than they thought it was. Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff that's dealing with Yellowstone, but you don't want to deal with that. Like, that's the last thing that you want to do. You know what I mean? If you want to talk about, if you want to see an apocalypse, let Yellowstone explode.
Yeah.
And I would get blasted right here from the initial blast immediately. You know what I mean? Because I'm right here, compared. But yeah, no, absolutely. We would a majority of us would get smoked.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So let's see what we got here. What we looking at on time? Okay, we at 1:22. So
sounds good to me.
Yes. So we're gonna drop this down. I'm gonna do something different today. We're gonna do our thing, Mike, and then we're gonna let Aaron close us out tonight.
He'll be the last person to speak.
Yeah, that way you can, anything that you want to put out and all that stuff, we're gonna give you your opportunity to say that.
Nice.
So let me start by saying, first off, as always, I appreciate each of you coming out and listening and commenting and getting involved in the chat and sharing what we've been putting out here. Don't forget, like, follow, share, subscribe, tell your people. I mean, look at this stuff. It seems like a lot of this stuff that we've been talking about is like, oh wow, this like doom and gloom, but it's not. It's not really. You know what I mean? It's actually just putting you on game and keeping you aware as to what's really going on out here. You know, you're not walking around blind.
That's true.
You know, but other than that, like I said, I appreciate you all every week for coming out here, supporting, and doing everything that you do for this show. And I'll see you guys in 7 days. Like I said, like, follow, share, subscribe. If you have any ideas you want us to talk about, any show ideas, hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever. I mean, send me an IM or email or whatever, and let me know what it is that you're talking about. Let me look at it. You know what I mean? If it's something I like, I do. I mean, we did a couple shows based off of emails that was sent to me. So keep the ideas. Yeah, so keep them coming. But until then, peace and love.
Yeah, and the way that you put it, I know this does sound doom and gloom, but the truth is would you rather walk around with the knowledge of knowing what could happen here or what is happening, or would you rather walk around in ignorance? You know what I mean? And I think it's always better to be put on game than to not. With that being said, everybody, make sure you guys smash the like button. That's the #1 metric on YouTube. If you guys can do me that big favor, that's a big one. If you guys also want to follow Archbishop on his Instagram, his Facebook, TikTok, all is scrolling down below right now. He's also got a Cash App as well to support the Diamond Effect, $Bishop 8752. Make sure you guys share this out with everybody. You guys sharing a live on YouTube is like word of mouth on the street, but on the internet, it's extremely vital to our show. And also, as you guys know, I am also completely demonetized on YouTube. If you guys want to help out, I'm demonetized till July 3rd, so we got about a month left. But yeah, you know, we got the Cash App right down there, $Ball Valve, Venmo @BallValve, and PayPal ballvalvetv@gmail.com. And thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being here and being a part of the show. Your guys' comments obviously are highlighted on every single show. So we'd love to get your guys' input on everything as well. With that being said, we'll see you guys in 7 days. Aaron, take it away.
Okay. There's an author named Mike Barra. He has a book called The Triangle. In his book, he stated that weather is the ultimate super weapon. So whether you believe that weather can be manipulated or not, there is no denying what all the climatologists and scientists are saying, that weather is going to increase in intensity, and it's going to increase in frequency, number of times that it's going to happen. It's all going to get worse, whether you believe it or not. Weather in its extreme can destroy. So all I can say is prepare accordingly, know what type of weather you expect to see in your area, and get your preps in place so that when something happens, you're not standing in them long lines asking for a handout from old Uncle Sam. I'll stop there.
Much love to everybody, and we'll see you guys in 7 days. Much love and respect to everybody.
One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free, then let me be free. One day I'm